Testing. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Norm Dawson.
Hey, Norm. How are you?
Great. Something wonderful is happening to me right now. It's this thing called life. Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is in my affairs. I receive it. I accept it. And I share it just the way that it is and just the way that it's not. Thank you, life. And so it is. If you have a noisemaker, like a hearing aid that squeals or a telephone that rings or feedback from a microphone, would you please cancel that so we can all not be distracted by those kinds of things that show up. Thanks for getting together here. I enjoy everybody being here today, and whether you're online, hey, online there, waving at online, or in the building here. Together we're transforming our world with the power of love in action. Because it takes a team to make this happen. We have our musical inspirations, Susan.
Good morning.
And our tech team, Belinda and Cheryl Ray. Boy, this tech thing is really important, so I'm glad we got some specialized people here that make this all happen. And also we've got our food angels, and we have our spirit-bound bookstore, Gilbert, back there. And so many more that I have lost track, and there's just not enough time to announce everybody. We have a licensed spiritual practitioner serving us today, Robin. Where's Robin? Somewhere. There she is, over there. She's holding the service in consciousness and prayer. And we have Marilyn O'Leary sitting right up front here, and she will lead our vision and mission statements in sharing the reading for the day. Right, Marilyn? Right. Good. And our message today is going to be brought to you today by Brian.
Yay, Brian.
Okay, whatever. So, the announcement I want to make here are real short and sweet. The Healing Circle today is going to be by Kim Peabody. Is Kim here? I don't see Kim, but she may be coming. Oh, not yet. Okay, anyway. She's going to do hugs. And I was going to demonstrate real quick here. Would you come up here? I want to show you what a hug is like. Now, a hug is important. It's 20 seconds to make a difference. Wow. So you got to do that for 20 seconds because it has a therapeutic event. It also connects to people in such a way that it really does have a lot more value if you just hang on for 20 seconds. Thank you. Yes, I appreciate you. And she'll also be doing Tanya meditations. We have a board adventure we want to let you know about, shaping the future, and that is finding some board members. We have a committee that's now in the process of recruiting and finding out and selecting people who want to be board members. And that includes Barbara Dawson, right there. I was looking for her, I couldn't find her. And Maria, is Maria here? She's not here. Reverend Gill, Sherry.
Well, they're in Big Bear.
Okay, and Cheryl Ray. Those are all people that are looking to recruit people. So if you want to talk to those people, come up with some ideas or just volunteer. We also have the Abundance Project that's happening every Monday at 7 o'clock to 7:30, and that's online. Is that right? And also Thursday mornings at 8:30 to 9 o'clock online. Need more details about that, just go to our website or to the bulletin and you'll get more details. Friday we're having another Solid Grounds, again with Oscar Butler. He's the Delta guy, knows Delta music.
That was Friday. We had him Friday.
This week, it's no strings attached.
Oh, right, no strings attached.
What's
Boy, I
that?
don't know where I messed that up, but hey, it happens.
Doors open at 6:30.
Oh.
Music starts at 7. No strings attached. They're a
Okay.
bluegrass. They're a local band. Quite good. So come in and see them, and you might even get some dancing in over there at that side of the room when they're here. Yeah. And of course, Solid Grounds. There's no cover charge. All the coffee and snacks are free, and we just accept your donations with gratitude.
What she said. And don't forget, a big thing about this service and this facility and this group of people who have science of mind and religious scientists is that after the service, we all get to go back there in the back room and have some really scrumptious food that everybody contributes together. So it's a really big thing. So hang out, even if you haven't brought any food. And there's a lot of ongoing events on the website. So if you will go to the website, you'll find out all the other group things that are just happening on a regular basis. So with that, I will leave you with, that's it for Sunday morning announcements. Who's next?
Good morning. I'm next, or I think I'm next, yes. If you could please rise, stand as you are able here. This is kind of a low key, it's kind of a mellow opening song, so it's kind of da, 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 da. It's kind of like da, da. Yeah, you got it, yeah. And we'll your heart when I see you smile. You are enough. You are enough. You are worthy. You are loved just as you are. You are enough. You are worthy. You are loved just as you are. A little different here. You are loved. I am loved. Together we are never alone. I am enough. I am worthy. I am loved just as I am. I am enough. I am worthy. I am loved just as I am. I see your light. I see your beauty. I feel your heart when I see you smile. I see your light. I feel your heart. I see your light. I feel your heart. Oh, thank you.
So I breathe into this sacred moment, recognizing the presence of Spirit everywhere, in every person, in every situation. In all of it, God is there. And I recognize that the truth of God is divine love. It's unending joy, peace everlasting. And it is the bedrock on which I stand. I recognize the truth of what God is the truth of what I am. I am that power and presence, that I am all of it. I accept all of it. And I recognize that God is in everyone I meet, that we are all the divine expressing, that we are all that infinite love, that unending peace, that joy that abounds. It is goodness. It is light. It is the part of us that recognizes the truth in each other, that looks past the seeming prickliness of humanity, and instead embraces the truth, that there's nothing to judge, there's nothing to be in condemnation about, that even the things that we don't like hold within them the kernels that will blossom and are blossoming into that divine expression which we recognize as the goodness of God. And so in this moment, in this service, I invite in the recognition that everything is just as it should be. That even though we push against, even though we resist, that in truth, it is just in the allowing of what is that we discover the love that was always there. And so I affirm that this service is blessed, that our speaker, Brian, is blessed, and that he conveys to us the kernel of wisdom that allows us to wake up just a little bit more, to recognize that life is perfect just as it is, even when we don't like it. And so I let this go. I declare everything good and very good. I take it all in. I accept it. I drink in the love that is being offered. And then I release it, knowing that there was never anything I needed to hold on to. Knowing that this moment, just like every moment, is exactly as it should be. And so, knowing that this moment is perfect, I ask you to join me in blessing it by saying, and so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Nancy, practitioner extraordinaire. Appreciate that. She's also an administrator extraordinaire as well, so I love her presence here, as I do all. So I am Reverend Gil William Olmsted. I am the spiritual director. That's my job. It's also my honor and my privilege. And my pronouns are he and him. And what I always like to do at the beginning of our service is anchor the basic tenets that we hold to as New Thought folks. So there's a lot of different flavors of New Thought, and New Thought itself is really the idea of all things being included. So, to that end, we believe that there's only one force in the universe, and that force is called many things. It's God, it's called Divine Mother, it's called many different things, but it's still the one. And secondly, we hold to the idea that we have some kind of influence over our lives, so that how we think about the world changes how we experience it. So we are interested in keeping an eye on that, because sometimes we can think ourselves right into a hole. I don't know if you've ever done that. I've done it on several occasions. And we believe that everything ultimately is love, because that is the one thing that's happening, is love. Sometimes it looks like a loving act, and sometimes it looks like someone screaming out for attention. It's still love, and it's just the range of where we are. So we anchor that, and we anchor, as we have just sung so beautifully, that we are whole, perfect, and complete, right where we are. I am perfect, I am loved, I am all of those things. And so with that, we begin our time together, and I welcome all of you who are online. Thank you for being here. Everyone in the room, thank you. We are grateful. If we have new folks with us, I want to acknowledge you and say thank you so much for being here. If anybody wants to say anything or raise their hand if that's true, you're welcome to. Okay, good. Okay, don't do it. Okay, online, there's a place for you to let us know that you're here. You can go check our website and sign so we know and we can catch up with you later. Meanwhile, for everyone at home and everyone here, we are going to bless one another, and especially those who are newer with us. So we're going to put our hands together, generate a little energy. We're going to send that energy out to one another and through the airwaves, and we are going to say, we see you. We know who you really are. We see that divine emanation of spirit. And we are grateful for it. And we love you. And we welcome you to Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living. And now I welcome Marilyn to our platform to lead us in our next section. You got it?
Please read with me our vision and mission statement as soon as it's up there. And think about this, because it's really a statement that we thought over, that we put together a while ago, and it has a lot of meaning. All right, read it together with me. Our vision: transforming our world with the power of love in action. And our mission: loving all creation with spirit of growth and service, always staying true to our highest self. And for reading today, I chose a page from our Science of Mind magazine, which is in the bookstore if you want it. And this is actually from this past Thursday. And it's called Do What You Love, Kid. 3 strikes may be out in baseball, but life is not baseball. And that's a quote from U.S. Representative James Clyburn. I recognize the harmonious self that I am, and I know this self will find its perfect expression, and that's Ernest Holmes in Richer Living. I remember the last day of my son's athletic career. I loved taking him to catch grounders and fly balls, and he looked adorable in his uniform on game days, trying to keep his attention on the game from the imaginative wonderland that is right field. There's a school of thought that you should only do what you are good at so you can excel at it. There's another school that says you should keep up with what you are bad at too, so that you don't quite stink at anything, but are only mediocre at a number of different things. I wanted my son to know at least a little of everything. I got the call while he was at baseball practice. The head coach hit Gavin in the foot with a pitch. Mom had taken him to the emergency room. I arrived and waited an hour before Gavin came out on crutches, a cast on his foot, and the biggest smile on his face I had ever seen. That's when I truly learned that life is not about excelling at what you are good at, nor is it about making sure you're grandly mediocre at everything. It's about doing what you love. Gavin, just do what you love, kid. We'll let life take it from there. What if today you just did what you loved and let life take care of the rest? Don't just do what you're good at. Don't just try to fit in, but do what you love. I know of no greater way to set the creative medium into action. Thank you.
It's me again. And I was going to stand up and sing this, but my eyes are dictating another stance. So, I have a song for you this morning by Dr. Reverend Barry Ebert. He's a minister, used to be up at Mile High. And this is a song of his called It's What We're Thinking About. All right, everybody's looking at me. I better do something. Soon as we wake up in the morning, that's when the voices start. It don't take long before they've run from your head right to your heart. We got fears about the future, regrets about the past, stuff we're not sure where it's from, but it's coming on fast. We're all thinking stuff together, but feeling all alone, and we're making up this movie, our own motion picture show. When you walk out in the world each day, it's a battle for your mind. Some folks want your money, some folks want your time, and they all want your attention, and they get it how they can. Guard well the garden of your mind, there lies the promised land. 'Cause we're all made up of all that stuff we're taking in each day. And if we don't pay attention, well, we'll waste our lives away. It's what we're thinking about. Oh, it's what we're thinking about. It's what we're thinking about. It's what we're thinking about. It's what we're thinking about that's painting the scenes of our lives. Yeah, that's what I said. Are you listening? Well, there's some folks thinks it's scarcity, there's not enough to go around. Other folks thinking we can all be fed, that solutions can be found. But we're bunkered into high-wall camps of left and right, it seems. And there's not much time for talking when everybody screams. And every new election, we seem to reach another low. But unless we work together, where do we think we'll go? It's what we're thinking about. 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 It's painting the scenes of our lives. You know, we used to have Walter Cronkite for half an hour every day. Now it's 24/7 red alert. News folks won't go away. And they plant those pictures in our minds like a million nasty weeds, until it makes it hard for us to find some place to plant our seeds. It might just be the off switch, it's the best control of all. 'Cause there ain't no TV hero gonna catch you when you fall. It's what we're thinking about. 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 That's painting all the scenes of our lives. Yeah. Well, there's some folks thinking about revenge, an eye for every eye. It's all about getting even, setting up before you die. Some folks think forgiveness, the hard road to the heart, is the only way to get there, and now's the time to start. And we all make up our own minds which way we're gonna go. Some things they tell you to believe, but others you just know. You just know. You just know. I'm doing that because I can't find my place on the page. Oh, please, where am I now? Oh, we've got a big investment in war as the only way. Lots of people thinking that that's the truth today, that the world is just a sandbox, a game of push and shove. Other folks thinking there is no power greater than love, and we're all not here alone to wait for peace to come. We've been given all the tools we need, so let's start start using some. It's what we're thinking about. 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 What are you thinking about? It's what we're thinking about. That's planting all those seeds in our lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan Clark. Now, before Brian Kurtz come forward, I wanted to say a couple words, and those are these. Brian has been around mostly since I got here with us here in Albuquerque, and he has brought energy and excitement and sometimes a lot of extra words, but not mostly. And he's always willing to pitch in and be a part of things. And he's the author, and a published author, which we have to give him credit for, of Access the Real You. Okay, and so Brian is here today to bless us with his message. And Henry wanted to tell you that too, so he came with me. So let's welcome Brian. Just push the button. Is it green?
I may have held it too long. Here we go. Hi, everybody. So, Reverend Gill mentioned my book. This is straight out of the book, but it's also in perfect alignment with the monthly message, which is all about perfection. So, I figured I'd look up the Merriam-Webster definition of perfection. So, I figured I'd read it to you. Freedom from fault or defect. Flawlessness. Are you intimidated already? Maturity. The quality or state of being saintly. You feeling saintly? An exemplification of supreme excellence. An unsurpassable degree of accuracy or excellence. How many people are in overwhelm already? Okay, so what I want you to notice is that you can notice that you have these thoughts. But the thing is, it's not always about you having the thoughts. Sometimes it's about noticing when the thoughts have you. Big distinction. So we open up our services with "we are whole, perfect, and complete." How many people buy that? Okay, good. So a lot of you do. That means you've been here long enough to get it. We are divine spirit beings. We are not a body with a soul in it. We are a soul sourcing a body. Huge distinction. So what I want you to notice, this complete thing. Now, how many of you are baseball people? Okay, so if you're running the base paths, you can get from home plate to first. You've completed your distance from home plate to first. Are you finished? No. You go from first to second. You've completed that. Are you finished? No. So same thing, second to third to home. The point of completeness is that I've completed this step on my way to wherever it is I'm going and evolving into. So it's a really key distinction when you've got this brain that's chattering all day. But while your brain is moving 1,000 miles an hour all day long, you are not your brain, you are the noticer of it. And if you want to get to that place of stillness, where divine inspiration can come, how do you get to that stillness? Well, but my brain's moving 1,000 miles an hour. Yes, but you're not your brain, you're the noticer of it. What I call the real you is noticing your brain moving 1,000 miles an hour, and the way you get to stillness is by noticing what's not still. In noticing your brain moving 1,000 miles an hour, you're placing yourself in stillness, which is where all the magic can happen. So this perfection thing is generated by your brain. One of the things about the brain is that it has to separate everything from everything else to be able to save it for later. Your brain knows every thought and every thought about the thought and every thought about the thought about the thought that you've ever had. And you can notice that it is doing that. And in noticing it, you're separating the real you from it. You're connecting to divine mind. So that the mind, when we sing that song about I am the thinker that thinks the thought, what is the thinker? If this is the thinker, you're in big trouble. But if this neural network and the heart-gut neural network is what's generating that and what is connecting to divine mind, then your mind, the real you's mind, is always in direct connection through the oneness and the wholeness and the completeness and the perfection of all of it. Your job then becomes getting into the awareness of that. And how do you get into the awareness? By noticing what's not that. This has to divide everything so it can save it. This just knows what it knows. This is what knows when you say, I know that I know that I know that. I know that. When I first walked into the doors here 2 and almost a half years ago, I knew that I knew that I knew this was my place. And it's not always gone the way this would prefer, but it's all happened in divine order. Now I'm doing workshops here. I get to speak here to my home congregation every so often. I'm speaking around the region now about this book and what I'm bringing and what it's all about and how it can impact your life in a productive and positive way. But perfection, it's like we're always trying to get to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. But what if it's all in the perfection that you see the next thing and the next thing and the next thing? This will notice the next thing and the next thing is, I'm not there yet, therefore I must be, whatever you want to add to the self-deprecation and self-loathing, as opposed to, wow, I've now gotten far enough to see that. If I'm driving to see my son in Austin and I get to Santa Rosa and I'm looking around, it's like, this isn't Austin, Texas. I must have screwed up. No, I'm just not there yet. But if I can hold the perspective of a little bit of altitude and see I'm on my way to Austin and I'm just at Santa Rosa, then I know I'm where I need to be. If we can hold that perspective, that 20,000-foot view, and see we're not there where we want to be yet, but we're here, and we're on our way to whatever that next thing is, it's a whole lot easier place. There's this thing in the Bible about Lord be a lamp unto my feet. How many people know that one? Don't know it. Okay, so there's this quote somewhere in the Old Testament. I'm no scholar, but it says, Lord be a lamp unto my feet. Some folks have heard it, but they don't even know where it came from. Where it came from was the ancient Hebrews used to roam around in the desert, and during the summer in the desert, it was too hot to be walking around in the desert in the middle of the day. You'd die. So they pitched these tents, and they would stay underneath the shade where the sand wouldn't heat up and they could survive the day, and then at night they'd pack everything up and travel. Well, when they navigated at night, they would use the stars, symbolically looking up to the heavens, to navigate. And if you've seen the little Aladdin cartoons, they've got these little curvy, pointy shoes. They would put a candle on the point of that shoe and light it so that at night, in the dark, they could see the next step and the next step and the next step. So Lord be a lamp unto my feet is basically just saying, God, just show me the next right thing to do. Well, how do you know that? How do you know what's next? By tuning in, by stopping and breathing or doing whatever it is you can do. For me, my favorite way to get to stillness is by noticing what's not still. It starts off with that. It starts off with noticing this thing that judges, that compares. It's always in the way. But guess what? It's just being what it is. But you're not that, you're the noticer of it. So if you can stop to notice that you're noticing what you're noticing, you're actually putting yourself in that grounded place where perfection already is. You can't stop this. At least I can't. I'm ADD. But I can notice that I'm not this. I'm the noticer of that. So in the noticing that you can notice what you can notice that your brain has not thoughts of the inherent perfection in the divinity that you always already are, but you can notice that the brain is using that standard of perfection as a comparison between where you are and where you might want to be. If you can notice that your brain is doing a comparison, if you're noticing that your thoughts are comparative, that ain't your heart, that's your brain. If you're judging someone, positively or negatively, that's your brain, not your heart. There's a way to notice. How do you notice? By noticing. But the more diligently you notice, the more you can notice that there's stuff going on here, there's stuff going on here that usually results from what's going on here because the chemicals in your brain hit your body, and you're stuck with that. But are you stuck with it, or are you just noticing that it's there? And then you've got circumstances going on in your life. You can notice that. But that which is able to notice this or what's going on around you is bigger than all of that. It's not about stopping your brain comparing to what you'd prefer. It's about noticing that your brain's doing that and you're not that. You're this. You're the noticer of it. So at that point, all the thoughts about whether or not you are perfect are just thoughts. And the way to rise above them, the way to overcome them, is to transcend by noticing them, and that which is noticing is always bigger than whatever is being compared. If you get some disease, which I assert is usually from dis-ease, your body's immune system starts to go, the body's natural healing mechanisms get a little off center, a little out of alignment. Next thing you know, maybe you've gotten sick. How many people here want to get sick? Right? But guess what? It happens. Can you notice that it's happening and get back to grounded? Get back to center? How many people make as much money as they want? Notice that, but notice, right? Is it enough? Maybe, maybe not. Can you be okay with it? I'm not saying like it. Can you accept it from a neutral place? Not a negative, because then you've got to get from negative to neutral to positive. But if you can just accept what is there, what is so, then you can notice what is so. But if it's not what you prefer, then what? How many people have issues? Right? And the rest of you are lying. So the point is, every issue has an inherent comparison going on being generated by the brain. You got a point A, I call it, which is what's so. I got X, Y, Z in the bank. I wish I had more. Point B is the preference that you'd rather have instead of point A. I have $100 in the bank. Well, I got a little more, not much. But I have $100 in the bank. I wish I had $1,000. I have $1,000 in the bank. I wish I had $1 million. I had $1 million in the bank. I wish I had $2 million. There's always this brain-generated preference noticing what's going on with what is. And that's okay, because you're not your brain, you're the noticer of it. When there are issues that come up, there's three ways to be with any issue. You can work to resolve the issue. If you can't resolve it, and sometimes that happens, I have a couple of kids from a couple of exes from marriages that didn't resolve. It happens. If I can't resolve it, I can refine who I'm going to be about the thing I can't resolve. And I'll work on refining, having more acceptance, more patience, more love, more of all of that stuff, that more awareness that helps everything be better. Because again, from that noticer soul place, you are standing in a place that's bigger than what's going on here or around in your life and circumstances. And the way to get to there is by noticing that you can notice that. And it puts you in the place. So if you've done all the resolving you can do, and you're still not there, and you've done all the refining you can do, working on patience, acceptance, whatever those characters, whatever those qualities are, it's time to release what's left. Some of you may have seen me do the release lesson. I'm going to show it to you again. because it's just essential. Now, don't release. Don't just let stuff go. This is not a Frozen cartoon. Don't just let it go until you've worked to resolve the issue, and it hasn't, if it hasn't, and you've worked on refining who you're going to be about that thing you couldn't resolve. Once you've done those, then it's time to release. So this is release. Watch closely. Okay, now if you missed it, watch again. Okay, now notice, what did I have to do to release? Open my fingers, let it fall, okay? But that's not what we do, because this is all the brain-generated conditions that prevent release. Well, can I do it? It didn't work out the last time. What are people going to say about me if I don't do it right? Well, how many times am I going to have to do this? All these brain-generated conditions, and if you've got one of them, oh, well, I've already done all these, but there's still this one little thing. Can't let go. Can't let it go. Well, but what do I do with that? There's always going to be something. Yes, something generated by this, but you're not this, you're the noticer of it. So when you can notice that there's still stuff, just be the noticer that there's still stuff. But Brian, I've got, yeah, but that which is noticing is already bigger than whatever it's noticing. I'll give you the best example I can give you. What's the worst thing that could ever happen? You die? I promise you that when you die, the noticer that's been noticing this and what's going on in your life will be noticing a body, a shell of where your spirit used to be living on the hospital bed or the floor or wherever it is. That which is sourcing you, your soul, is made of God stuff, forever connected to that. You can't get away from that if you want to. You are a soul in a body. Period. So what do? You don't have to do anything. You have to be in the awareness. And be the awareness that you are, becoming more and more aware of itself. So what do you do with all of this? Notice. You got an issue? How do you know there's an issue? Because there's something that there's a preference that's not getting met or an unfulfilled expectation. You get that? Can you work to resolve it? Can you forgive yourself because you're not there yet? Can you love yourself right where you are in the middle of whatever you got? Knowing that this is always going to want something more, something different, something better. And what makes it different or better? Because it says so. Does it always make sense? No. Is it supposed to? This wants it to make sense. But guess what? Sometimes it doesn't make sense. Can you be okay with it, the not being certain? This requires certainty. This requires infinite information and understanding of how to connect all the dots of everything that ever has happened or ever will happen in your life and everyone else's life. How impossible is that? So can you accept it? It's okay if you can't. Eventually, maybe you can. Again, I didn't say like, I said accept. Jesus, this guy who was around a couple thousand years ago, people are still talking about him. When some smart aleck came up to him in the square, knowing he's a rabbi, knowing that he knew that there are these 613 ways to touch God, that some referred to as commandments, I'll refer to them as teachings. There's a lot more inherent love and forgiveness in teaching than law. He came up to Jesus and said, okay, Jesus, what's the number one commandment? Knowing full well there's 613 and they're all important. So Jesus tripped him up. He said, love God with all your heart, soul, strength, and mind, which is the first couple of sentences out of a prayer that's spoken in every Jewish service, right after the one that says God is one. So he dropped that in on him, and he said the second part, which is the same as the first part, is love your neighbor as you love yourself. How many people love themselves? Good. A lot of people are like, well, I can like me, but I'm not really sure if I love me. Okay? Jesus didn't say like yourself. He said love yourself. If you've got a mischievous kid or nephew or somewhere that's running around pulling the flowers and kicking the dog and doing all sorts of stuff, you can still love that kid but not like what they're doing at the moment. Can you cut yourself the same slack? Well, it's a lot easier for everybody else. Notice that. Okay? It's okay if you're having a hard time with that. Because you're the one who can always see that thing and there's a preference that's not getting met yet. Because this has to compare this to this. This is what's so, this is what you'd prefer instead. It never ends. Can you love yourself even when you're not liking yourself? Can you love someone else even when you're not liking them very much? Can you be the love? When you're being love, you're in the oneness of the love. We open the service with it's either love or an act. It's either an act of love or a call for love. Man, I see a lot of calls for love. Some of which make me frustrated. I get angry, but I am not angry. My brain is angry, and I can notice that my brain is being angry. When I can notice that I'm sad, angry, frustrated, disappointed, I am separating the real me from that, and it no longer has me. I have the anger. I can be angry and have the anger or frustration. Because what is anger? Anger is sourced by a disappointment. Get underneath the anger to the disappointment, to the sadness, to the caring, to the love that's underneath all of it. And it always hurts exactly as much as you care. I'm not saying don't care. I'm saying notice that there's something there and do some excavation. You're capable of it. Yeah, but I don't have all the answers yet. Notice that. It's okay. Can you be okay not having all the answers? God only knows I have to every day. It's okay. Cut yourself some slack. Forgive yourself. Love yourself. Even when you don't like yourself. There's always going to be something. I'm bald and my scalp is flaky. I've got a big nose that points off in one direction. I got veins on my nose that I wish were gone. I got a gut because I put on about 10 pounds. Every day I look into the mirror and see the stuff I'm not real thrilled about. But I can notice that as something to help tip my rudder toward that which I want to be working on. Working toward resolving. And if I can't resolve it, I'll work on refining who I'm going to be about it. And if I can't refine anymore, I'm going to release whatever's left, because sometimes that's all you can do. And it's okay. But if you can love yourself, even when you don't like yourself very much, if you can love others, even when you don't like them very much, if you can forgive yourself, forgiveness does not require that all of the conditions be met. Forgiveness is release of the conditions that you may have been holding about someone that you can let go. And it's all a process. It's all a long-term thing, because your soul's forever. Can you be okay with the forever part, even if you want it yesterday? You gotta, right? Well, but I can't yet. Okay, yet. Can you work on it? And oh, by the way, you may get it and then forget it. Can you be okay with that? This is never going to be okay with that. This already is fine. Be in the awareness. Be in that place. Be the noticer. Because then, when this generates stuff about comparisons of you to perfection, you can transcend the thoughts of perfection in the noticing that there's this thing generating stuff about perfection. It's not about shutting it down or overcoming it. It's about just rising above it in a continuum that is all of you. All of you. The stuff you prefer, the stuff you don't prefer, the stuff you love, the stuff you don't like. It's all part of you that you are. And as long as you've got this running the show, you got no hope at all. But if you can make that long trek from here down to here, it gets a little easier. Then it takes practice. Yeah, you got to practice. Are you willing to practice? Are you willing to love yourself? Are you willing to forgive yourself? Good. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian, bringing that to us. So I'm going to invite practitioners and ministers to surround the room, and we're going to take a time of prayer right now and anchor what we've heard, anchor what's come forth through ourselves, and know that at this time, there is so much to be grateful for. There's so much to be grateful for. We are breathing. We are moving. We are thinking. We are here. All of it. And so, coming from the place of knowing that we are truly where Spirit is, that Spirit is right here, right now, that the perfection of my life, the perfection of each life here, each life within hearing distance, is from and as Spirit. It is Spirit showing up. And so I am grateful for that. I'm blessing each one who's been here, knowing that whatever the words were that we needed to hear, we heard. Whatever the feeling was we needed to have, we had it. Knowing that we walk from this place blessed and renewed and refreshed. Because Spirit is constantly present in our lives, and we can move from that place of thinking we know everything to the place of being with what is, the place of observing what is, the place of loving ourselves in the midst of whatever we may be telling ourselves about where we should be. We can let it go. We can let it go and know that we have unhooked each and every last thing that's holding us there. Every last place for that keychain to get hooked on our finger. We just let it go. So I'm blessing the world. I'm blessing the leaders of our world, of our nation, of our community, knowing that somehow, some way, in all of it, there is the perfection of Spirit being expressed. And that we simply bless them in this quest to do that. And we know that each one of us, each one can expand and grow and learn. And so I am truly trusting that to be the truth of our world. So I'm grateful for all that has come forth today. I'm grateful for each one here, and I simply release my word and say, and so it is. Amen. Somebody had an itch. Was that you? No.
I just noticed it.
You just... Sorry, Henry came for his first trip to a Sunday morning to see how he did.
Oh, Henry.
He's kind of figuring it out. So it's our opportunity now to give in a way that supports our community financially and allows us to continue to move forward and to embrace what's possible as a community. And so as we do this, I just want each of us to notice what we think about money, what we think about our money, what we think about the center's money, and like where we see the inadequacies, where we see the lack, and just shift that thought to knowing that what we have, that it all comes from within, and what is we can be grateful for. And we can know that what is beyond our imagination. It's bigger than we think. So as we do that, let's just take out our gifts and hold them on our hearts and say together our blessing. which is going to come up in just a moment. It's our abundance blessing. So together we're going to say, I am abundant, and I give from my abundance. I am prosperous, and I give from my prosperity. I am blessed, and I give from my blessings. My blessings of spirit are as abundant as the stars, and so I give and receive generously. So it is. Thank you, Susan.
When you hear a voice no one else can hear, yet it's clear and loud, ringing in your ear, and you finally know what it's time to do, that's your true calling, calling you, that's your true calling, calling you. When your heart's wide open 'cause your mind's been changed, and the dreams you dream, they're just not the same. There's a gate that's open, you can walk right through, that's your true calling, calling you, that's your true calling, calling you. Oh, you ask yourself, is this a voice I can trust? You think you can't, but you know that you must. You're afraid you'll fall if you let go, but there's only one way you'll ever know. Those wings you keep folded are meant to be used when your true calling is calling you, when your true calling is calling you. Oh, you ask yourself, am I asking too much? Oh, you think you can't, but you know that you must. When your heart's wide open 'cause your mind's been changed, and the dreams you dream are not the same. There's a gate that's open, you can walk right through, that's your true calling, calling you, that's your true calling, calling you. Oh, you ask yourself, is this a voice I can trust? Think you can't, but somehow you know you must. There's a gate that's open, you can walk right through, that's your true calling, calling you, that's your true calling, calling you. You know that's your true calling, calling you. Thank you.
So we take a moment just to bless these gifts, bless all the gifts we've received this morning. We blessed Brian and his message and what it's brought to us this day. And we bless all of the gifts in the baskets, knowing that they, along with all that we do, support this community in reaching beyond itself, in becoming, in moving toward those places we want to see ourselves, and being able to celebrate where we are on the path. So I give thanks, and I simply say, and so it is.
I didn't look the last time I was up here. It's really a joy to be here, and a joy to have all of you here together, all of us experiencing one. And so I want to remind you of a couple things. We have our prayer garden over here with practitioners there to pray with you about anything, a little mini session about anything you want to pray with, and it will really make you feel better. I'm going to say that. It will make you feel better to have a prayer with a practitioner. So come and get a prayer with us. Also, I just have to say this, based on what Brian talked about today, we're going to have a meditation morning on Saturday, the 17th of August. So everything he was saying is yes, and come to meditation morning to think about and figure out how you're going to get to that quiet place, or experience it, not think about it and figure it out. Experience it. Right, Brian? All right. Thank you. All right, and also just remember, we have goodies in the social hall, and anything else in conversation and things like that. So please enjoy yourself and pay attention to what our announcements are, because there's lots of fun things going on, and look at the newsletter. All right, thank you. Good to see you all. And I think we have another song. Susan.
Yes, if you please stand, we're going to go out with a song called I'm Choosing Heaven Today. We've done this many times, so sing it like you mean it. A little intro. Here we go. I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing love today. I'm choosing love today. I am walking the road of love right now, singing I'm choosing love today. I'm choosing compassion today. I'm choosing compassion today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing I'm choosing compassion today. Joy. I'm choosing joy today. Hallelujah. I'm choosing joy today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing I'm choosing joy today. I'm choosing abundance today. I'm choosing abundance today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing I'm choosing abundance today. We're going to repeat that first verse, last verse, same as the first. I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing I'm choosing heaven today. There's always a choice, right?
So let's go out with this affirmation. Every step I take is exactly where it's supposed to be. Every step I take is exactly where it's supposed to be. Go in peace.
Where do you go when trouble's got you down? Smash that courage and take a look around. Turn to the right, move ahead. Just keep on taking that next right step. What do you do when trouble's